All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Every 15 minutes, someone dies from an alcohol-related accident in the United States. In April 5th, 2012, it was me. I was a part of the Every 15 Minutes program at my high school. Since I was lucky enough to actually be a part of it, I figured it'd be a great topic to research and speak about today. Not all of you have been a part, witnessed, or even heard about the program, but everyone can relate to drinking and driving in some way. Today I'm going to explain to you why Every 15 Minutes is a life-changing program by introducing you, or reintroducing you for some, to the Every 15 Minutes program, sharing with you my story, and also describing to you the effect it had on the community. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Every 15 Minutes program, I'll first explain to you what it's all about. Aaron Dean defined it perfectly when he said it's a two-day event targeting high school juniors and seniors that illustrates the devastating effects that the poor choice to drink and drive have. Every 15 Minutes originated from a similar program in Canada. It was first adopted here in Chico. That was the first site in 1995, back when every 15 minutes someone did die from an alcohol-related accident. Today, the latest stat I could find was 2011, that every 53 minutes someone dies from an alcohol-related accident, and every 90 seconds someone is injured. That was from the MAD website. It requires months of planning and incorporates many local corporations, which are vital to the program. The biggest one is the fire department, because they have to block off the street. They provide the ambulance and the paramedics, and they schedule the helicopter, and they figure out where it's going to land. The cost is tens of thousands of dollars, and most of it is donated by organizations such as MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and CHP. Now that you know what Every 15 Minutes program is all about, I'm going to tell you my story. My life was changed when I was awoken to the real dangers of drinking and driving April 5th, 2012. About 20 students were hand-selected from staff at my high school, El Dorado, and most of them were called the Walking Dead. So every 15 minutes, a bell would ring, and someone would be pulling out of class by the Grim Reaper. Their obituary would be read in front of the class, and then they'd go up to the office, get their face painted white, and go back to class not able to speak to anyone, just as if they were there, but not really. And then 5 of us were selected for the accident scene. So it was outside, it was on the main street outside our school. There was 2 cars. One was the drunk driver, and he made an illegal U-turn and T-boned my car, and I had a passenger. My passenger was dead on arrival. So she was taken out of the car and put into a hearse, driven directly to the morgue. The drunk driver was okay. He had a passenger in the back seat, which was our hysterical passenger. So she kind of narrated the whole thing. And then his front seat passenger was in and out of consciousness, and she was taken by the firefighters that used the jaws of life, taken, helicoptered out of the area where she died in a helicopter. I was taken out of the car. I was unconscious in an ambulance with my mom in the ambulance, and we were taken to the hospital down the street, and where I died on the operating table. The doctor called time of death, covered my face up. My parents came in, said their final goodbyes to me, which was extremely hard to hear. And then they left, and so I was kind of just emotionally numb. After that, everyone in the program went to the courtroom, where we had the actual trial of the drunk driver. I don't know if any of you have been in a situation like that, but there's victim impact statements that the parents of the kids who died said, just how their life would be different without them, which was tough to hear. The judge ruled the maximum sentence for the drunk driver, which was 17 years and 3 months in prison. Afterwards, the judge and the attorneys talked to us how often these cases happen in their day-to-day life. Next, we went to dinner, and then we went back to the hotel, and where we had a guest speaker who was affected by drinking and driving when she was our age. She was 90% of her body is now covered in third-degree burns, and she had to relearn how to walk and everything, but she's fine now. She actually started the program. And then we had to write letters to our parents, starting off with every 15 minutes, someone in the United States dies in an alcohol-related accident. And today, it was me, and then you say your final words that you want to tell your parents. Our parents had to do the same thing to us, write a letter as if it was their last words. So the next day we had an assembly in our funeral service in front of the class and in front of the whole school. And there was a guest speaker who had personally been affected by drinking and driving. Her mom and stepdad had been killed. And then some parents read their letters to their kid, and then some kids read their letters to their parents. Some of you guys might be thinking, okay, like that was fake. So like everyone knew it was fake. So I'm going to tell you how every 15 minutes affected me, my family, my school, and my community. Yes, the crash is real, but the emotions brought on by the program are the crash is fake and the emotions are completely real. I realized I had such an amazing life and I was surrounded by great family and friends. The amount of Facebook messages I got the next day, because we were cut off of all contact. So the next day I had so many Facebook messages, text messages, just from people that were in my class I didn't really think I had a good connection with. It made me realize what's really important in life. Now whenever if I go to a party, I'm joked, people call me a mom. I'm the mom, or they call me the drinking and driving Nazi. I don't let anyone leave. It strengthened my relationship with my parents because we realized what it's like to lose each other and how important our life is. The reaction from my friends and classmates was overwhelming, and I was known as the girl from people that didn't know me, the girl that died around school. And people wrote essays for scholarships about the program and how it really affected them, and so people told me about that. Every 15 minutes brought attention to a national problem of drinking and driving to my community, as it does thousands of cities nationwide. After listening, I hope you now have a better understanding of the Every 15 Minutes program and how effective it is. You know my story and the impact it had on my community and my life. So in closing, this program was the most effective learning experience I've had to date, and I can wholeheartedly say that Every 15 Minutes changed my life.
I'm sorry, I could not. I was distracted. I've got to pay attention to the speeches or something. We're okay? We're good? All right. All right, and so we know Eddie did not arrive. So I guess you're just going to hear from me. All right, Alexa, I thought that the opening was fine. I like the way that you give the statistic and then include yourself in the statistic. I think that's a clever way of transitioning to the program that you're talking about. You've got a very clear statement of what your goal is for the presentation. There's an excellent preview of the supporting material, so organizationally it should be pretty easy to follow. There's some statistical information at the beginning that's a little bit complicated because it sounds like the numbers have either changed or they are being used in different ways. So if the program's called Every 15 Minutes, there's got to be some explanation. Maybe that's a worldwide statistic, for instance, as opposed to a national statistic. Or maybe it is attempting to catalog not just fatalities, but all accidents. So that could be clarified a little bit, and it seems like that ought to be because it is, in fact, the title of the program. But I thought you did a good job trying to explain that and where the program came from. All of that, I think, worked pretty well. It seems like I think it would work maybe a little bit better if you had the material about your participation in the program a little bit before you go into the whole description of, setting it up. It just felt like there were a couple things that were out of sequence at the beginning. Once you got into the experience and the narrative, it's very easy to follow because it's just chronological there. But the setup and the description, I think, needed a little bit clearer structure. Internally, everything, like I said, was easy to follow because it was chronological in nature. You ran the slideshow at an appropriate point. It does go on for a while, and there's not really much discussion of any of the images in there except that it is part of the actual program that you were in. So I thought that that was effective in pulling the audience in there. I think there could be a little bit more that would engage us there. You're relying on the slideshow from the video, and I think it's a good ad, but I'm not sure it's really as much as you would like to have. The delivery issues, for the most part, I think that you're having to look at your notes a lot, but it wasn't awful. It's not like you were reading the whole time, but it did. Every time you looked down at the notes, it was kind of noticeable because it just felt like you were having to do it almost like a crutch instead of just an occasional reference. There's an extra point there, and it is your experience. When you're talking about your experience, for instance, I think that works most effectively. You had a good exit line for the speech at the end also, so I thought it was a very solid job. Thank you.